A woman moves into a stunning glass house by the lake to start over, but she finds a letter in the mailbox addressed to her by someone who should not exist in her time. When she writes back, a man in another year receives her reply and realizes the mailbox is connecting them across time. As their letters turn into a deep bond, their hope grows into real love, but the timeline pushes back with warnings, missed chances, and a painful argument that could destroy everything. Now both of them are forced to choose what they are willing to risk for a person they have never truly met. Chapter 1. The Glass House and the Wrong Letter. I moved into the lake house because I needed quiet. The kind that lets you hear your own thoughts, even the ones you keep buried. The place was almost unreal, a modern glass home balanced over the water on wooden posts, like it was trying not to disturb the world around it. On my first evening, I noticed the mailbox. White paint, slightly chipped, and a red flag that looked too bright for something so old. I opened it expecting nothing. Inside was a letter. Not junk mail. Not a flyer. A real envelope with careful handwriting. And my name. At first I thought the previous tenant had friends who did not know she moved out. But the first line made my stomach tighten. He wrote as if he was standing inside my house. He described the scratched spot on the table near the window. The loose board on the dock that squeaked when you stepped on it. Details I had not told anyone. And then he wrote something that made my hands go cold. He said the date. It was 2 years earlier than mine. I read it twice, then 3 times, trying to force it into logic. My phone had no signal in the house unless I stood near the road, and I had not met a single neighbor yet. So who was this man? And why was his letter waiting for me like it had been patiently holding its breath? I told myself the simplest answer. A prank. A weird game. A broken mind playing tricks. Still, I sat at the small table and wrote back. I kept it practical. If you are real, prove it. Tell me something only I will do tomorrow. I signed it, folded it, and carried it to the mailbox at sunset. For a moment I stood there, listening to the lake. Then I slipped the letter inside like I was dropping a pebble into deep water, not knowing how far it would sink. Chapter 2. A reply from the future. 2 days later, I received another letter. The handwriting was the same, and my heart did something it had not done in a long time. It lifted. He answered my challenge. He wrote that tomorrow morning I would spill coffee on the dock because the loose board would tilt under my foot. He even apologized in advance for laughing. The next morning, I carried my mug outside just to test him, telling myself I was proving a point. The board squeaked. It tilted. My coffee splashed across my sleeve. I stood there staring at the stain, my mouth open, the lake wind cold on my skin. That night I wrote him again, this time with shaking hands. How are you doing this? Who are you? His next letter came fast, as if he had been waiting by the mailbox on his end. He said his name was Daniel. He was an architect, renting a small apartment in the city, trying to make a career while feeling like he was always a step behind everyone else. He found my letter in the same mailbox, at the same lake house, but to him it was still 2 years earlier. He thought I was a scammer at first. Then he saw the details I included about the future, things I could not have known. A storm that would crack the old oak by the shore, a bookstore that would close, the name of a dog he had not adopted yet. I learned he was not alone in the mystery. He took my letters to a bookstore owner he trusted, a woman named Maris, hoping she would say it was fake and make the fear go away. But she only told him the truth. Sometimes life gives you one impossible thing, and you either run from it or you listen. So Daniel listened. And so did I. Our letters became steady, like footsteps meeting in the dark. He asked what I was running from. I told him about the relationship I left behind, the one that made me doubt my own worth. He wrote back with quiet kindness, the kind that does not push, only holds space. Weeks passed. Then months. And somewhere in the middle of ink and paper and unanswered questions, I started to fall in love with a man I had never seen in the present. Chapter 3. The year between us. When you love someone through letters, you fall in love with their mind first. Their humor. Their honesty. The way they notice small things and make them feel important. Daniel wrote about the city, rainy streets, late nights at his drafting desk, the smell of coffee that kept him awake. I wrote about the lake, foggy mornings, the sound of water against the posts, the way the glass walls made me feel exposed and safe at the same time. We tried to meet. Of course we did. At first it sounded simple. Pick a date, pick a time, stand in the same spot. But we were never in the same year. When I stood on the dock at 7 p.m. on May 14th, he stood there at 7 p.m. on May 14th too, just in a different year, staring at empty air. So we got creative. We left signs. A carved mark under the railing. A hidden photo taped beneath a drawer. A note tucked behind a loose floorboard. Small proof that our love was not imaginary, that it touched the real world. Then the tone of the letters changed. Daniel started asking questions that scared me. What happens in my year to him? Does he still rent the lake house? Does he move here? Does he even make it? I hated that I had answers he did not. Because in my year, the lake house had been empty before I moved in. And nobody in town remembered a man living there recently. The caretaker only said, "People come and go. This place keeps its secrets." I tried to brush it off. Maybe he moved. Maybe he traveled. Maybe he was fine. But one afternoon, I found an old newspaper clipping shoved inside the back of a kitchen drawer. Water damaged, like it had been hidden for a long time. It mentioned an accident on the Lakeside Road, 2 years ago. Same week Daniel was writing to me from. My throat tightened. The page did not show a photo. Just a few lines. An unknown driver. A late night crash. Rain. Fog. No clear details. That night I wrote Daniel a careful letter. I asked him to be cautious. To avoid the lake road during storms. I tried not to sound terrified. His reply was gentle, but I could feel his frustration under the ink. He wrote, "You know something. And I need you to tell me." Chapter 4. The letter that cut too deep. Love is not only warm moments and sweet words. Sometimes love is fear that turns into anger because you cannot control what matters most. I should have told Daniel everything. I knew that. But the clipping felt like a weapon in my hands. If I wrote, "You might die," would that become the reason he did? If I warned him, would I push him into the exact night I feared? I delayed. I tried to soften it. I told him I had found something, but it was unclear. I asked him to trust me. Daniel did not take it well. He wrote back that trust goes both ways. That he was tired of feeling like a character in a story I was reading ahead. That he loved me, but he could not live inside a mystery where I held the only flashlight. His words stung because they were true. And I reacted the worst way possible. I wrote a letter while I was still crying, still shaking, still full of old pain from my past. I accused him of pushing too hard, of making me responsible for his whole life, of treating our connection like it was something he could demand answers from. When I dropped that letter into the mailbox, the sound of it hitting the bottom felt like a door slamming. The next days were quiet. No letters. I walked through the glass house like it was a museum of our love, everything clear and beautiful and untouchable. I reread his old pages until the paper softened at the folds. Maris, the bookstore owner, became my lifeline even though I had never met her. Daniel mentioned her again in an older letter, so I wrote to her through the mailbox like she might still be there in my year too. I do not know if the letter reached her. I only know that I needed someone, anyone, to hear me. In my silence, I finally admitted the truth. I was not only afraid of losing him. I was afraid of being the reason he stayed away. Because what if I was already too late? What if love across time was still love with an expiration date? Chapter 5. A promise with conditions. A letter arrived on a bright morning when the lake looked harmless, like it had never held fog or storms. The envelope was worn at the edges, as if it had traveled farther than it should. Daniel wrote that he was sorry for the way he spoke. He said anger was easier than fear, and he had been terrified. He admitted something that made my heart ache. He had started making plans around me. Real plans. The kind you make when you believe in a future. He also wrote something else, something that made me sit down hard on the kitchen floor. He believed the accident was connected to the letters, to the choices we made because of each other. He said he spoke to an older mechanic he trusted, a man named Harold, who told him the same thing Maris did. The impossible does not ask permission. It just shows up. And when it does, you have to decide what kind of person you will be inside it. Daniel asked for honesty, no matter what. He promised to do the same. So I wrote back with the truth I had been choking on. The clipping, the date, the road, the rain. I wrote it plainly, without drama, like facts might hurt less than feelings. Then I wrote the thing I had been afraid to write. I love you. And I do not want my love to be the reason you disappear. Days later, his reply came with a single sentence that kept replaying in my head. Then we change what disappears. He told me he had a plan, but he needed me to follow it exactly. He gave me a time and a place. Not to meet him face to face, not yet, but to do something that could reshape the path between us. My hands shook as I read. The lake outside looked too calm, like it was holding its breath again. Chapter 6. The dock at daybreak. The night before the plan, rain hit the glass walls in thin, steady taps. I barely slept. I kept thinking about how strange it is to miss someone you have never touched. Just before dawn, the rain eased into mist. The lake turned silver, the world quiet except for my own heartbeat. I went to the mailbox with Daniel's last letter in my pocket. The instructions were clear, and still I did not feel ready. Ready meant accepting that what we did could matter, could change things, could cost things. I opened the mailbox. Inside was one more envelope, but not like the others. The handwriting looked rushed. The paper was slightly smeared, as if it had been written in the rain. I held it tight, my breath caught, and I looked down the dock toward the shore. Fog curled low over the water. The glass house behind me glowed faintly with a single lamp I had left on, like a promise that I would come back. In that moment, I understood something simple and huge. Love is not only fate. Love is choice, again and again, especially when you are scared. I stepped forward, following the plan, not knowing if the next minutes would bring relief or heartbreak, not knowing if time would finally allow us to stand in the same world. But I kept walking anyway. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to the channel, activate notifications so you never miss the next video, and give this video a like. Also, comment what you think will happen next, and share this video with someone who loves romantic stories with mystery and twists.